Stealing like an artist is not about copying something that someone else has made. It's about taking a moment to recognize what it is about that piece of art that is drawing you in. Hi, welcome to my studio. I'm Jess, I'm a collage artist, and I'm so happy that you're here because today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is how to steal like an artist. So if you haven't read Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, then I highly recommend it. I'm not going to talk about anything super new, but I am going to talk about how I personally utilize his advice. So if that sounds like fun to you, then let's get started. So let's talk about what are the elements that I am seeing in these pieces of artwork and what is it that I'm drawn to. I'd say that one of the first things I want to look at is this image. It's essentially a collection of torn flower images layered in such a way as to resemble mountains and a road that's running through the central point. So if I had to break this down and say what I like about it, I think that I like the layered horizon elements, or landscape, layered landscape, disparate elements. I like the central point of reality, and I like the sense of absurdity that sort of comes along with having all of these elements or these flower mountains. So we'll put not the mountains themselves, but the inherent absurdity. All right, let's look at another one. Here's a good one. All right, so we've got 3 layers essentially here. We've got maybe 4. We've got sky, we've got giant planet, that's absurd, huge head, and this road leading toward the giant's head. So again, I like the layered landscape going on. This big head is sort of like this giant mountain in the background in some ways. I like this central point of reality, the road being that central point of reality. And then I think it's pretty clear that this has an inherent absurdity to it. So those 3 things still are true. Okay, this has got a layered landscape with disparate elements, right? They don't look like they go together. The colors are quite contrasty. Maybe I'll add that, contrasting colors. That whale is pretty absurd. And in the foreground, we have the road. The road, while it does go up and kind of end in this absurd area in the center, the road itself is sort of this central point of reality. I don't know, I think that was helpful. So we have these 4 goalposts. Let's see what we can make with this idea. So I'm starting out by going through this National Geographic book, Rarely Seen. I love this book for its many epic landscapes, so I figured it would have some good stuff for me to pull from. One of the main things I hope to accomplish by first analyzing those collages that I've pinned and saved in the past was to help me better understand where the through lines are. These repeating elements that you identify can help you understand better what it is you want to create in your own practice. It certainly helped me because I would have just gone out and gotten a bunch of landscapes and hoped for the best. Which, granted, that totally looks like what I'm doing at this moment. Touché. But hang on till the end of the video and you will see what I do to push this to the next level. As I go through these books and magazines, I'm pulling out more horizons and elements than I think I'll need, but I'm doing this so I have a nice collection of options to choose from once I do start assembling the collage. Once I had my cutouts all sorted, I got out a piece of backing paper to glue my horizons to. On that first piece, I knew that there was going to be a decent amount hidden, so I cut off the bottom to save it for another collage. Here I realized I didn't like the way that shocking red looked. I think it was too similar, perhaps, and it didn't provide enough fantasy contrast. Nothing says impossible like a frozen lake in the middle of a red and purple desert. I did accidentally glue this down a little too far over to the right. When I tried to pull it up, it started tearing, so that was my sign to just let it go. Okay, so I think we got really close here. We've got our layered landscape of disparate elements. I mean, they're not exactly the most disparate. They are kind of mountains, but mountains from different areas, right? We've got our central point of reality, which is this sort of walkway here. Contrasting colors, I think we kind of got that. We've got some red and blues sort of contrasting. The absurdity factor is a little low. So let's take a look at this book and see if there's anything that we could add. I don't want to try to force it if it's not going to really work. Maybe similar to that one we saw before. That might be a bit big though. he could be interesting, or maybe her. Let's see. If he was like popping up. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let's maybe try it. I can't think of anything else I want to do with him, so that might work. So that is how I go about stealing like an artist. Take a look at the things that I have pinned or liked and try to break down what are the elements that are drawing me to that specific piece of art. Stealing like an artist is not about copying something that someone else has made. It's about taking a moment to recognize what it is about that piece of art that is drawing you in. It wasn't until I thought critically about these various elements that I realized I was missing a piece. If you like this, I hope that you'll consider hanging out with me a little longer in the studio. I have some videos here on screen that I think you might like. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. Okay, bye! Bye! See ya! Bye.